Yo, what's up, Team Dragon Blaze? Today we're back with another episode of me talking about topics that I want to talk about regarding INAZUMA 11. So today, as you guys can see from the title is Tenma is the best protagonist in INAZUMA 11, or maybe something along those lines. So, by the way, tell me what y'all think of me saying Team Dragon Blaze. Like, I need to do something with, like, regarding what to call, like, my viewers. And I thought, my team that I always make in Strikers and wherever is called Team Dragon Blaze. So maybe you guys are Team Dragon Blaze. I am Dragon Blaze, but, like, maybe this is the team. Like, I also say team, like basically, let me know what you guys think. So yeah, before we're going to get into why I think that Tenma is the best protagonist in INAZUMA 11, at this point still, as you guys probably know, around 81% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. And if you are one of that 81%, then please consider subscribing, because I'd love to see you in my comment section, and I'd love to have you be notified about my videos, and I really appreciate that. And other than seeing you in my comment section, I would also love to see you in my Discord, which is also in the description if you want to, if you actually want to go in there. And I also got a Twitch, so you can go over there as well, and then you can interact with me as I am streaming, probably at least every single Saturday, and I hope that it's gonna be a Friday as well. And okay, let's get right into this topic, shall we? So yeah, here we go. Basically, in my opinion, Tenma, as it is said from the title, and like I've said this like multiple times as well, I think on stream and in other videos before, I think that Tenma is the best protagonist in INAZUMA 11, and he's also my favorite, one of my favorite characters in INAZUMA 11. Like, I can never necessarily really choose between Kasamaru and Tenma, but they're basically like basically Tenma is like one of my all-time favorite characters of INAZUMA 11, and he's also from a series slash season that I think a lot of people like. I feel like with INAZUMA 11 Go, it's like a hit or miss with some people, even though a lot of people do still enjoy INAZUMA 11 Go, but for some people it wasn't really their style. And for a lot of people, Tenma wasn't really their style. Like, once again, I've talked about this in a previous video before, but people are really just, they liked, I guess, the whole thing that Endo had a bit more. In my opinion, I think that Tenma just objectively, as we are looking at whatever he has done and also his growth, is just the best protagonist. And I'm going to be talking about a few things like that. I first want to go and address a bit more of the things that the other protagonists have done, and then I want to go to what Tenma has done in comparison to that, and just as a character, as a whole, what he has done. So let's first go over Inamori, because he's actually the easiest one to kind of like talk about. Inamori's good things about him is that he is like a really determined character. He really wants to do his best for his team. He really wants to do his best for his friends, which this is like a thing with all of the main characters. So at least he has those traits. But other than that, the character doesn't necessarily really grow too much, or it's like a really dynamic character. Like, the character is kind of like basically the same in throughout like the entirety of Ares, and then in Orion you can see that he he's like in different situations, and that makes him act in different ways. And there is this really interesting part where he where basically he just does not want to use Grid Omega, as the team in Orion is in a pinch. And I thought, at first I thought to myself, like, oh my goodness, here we have Asto again, not wanting to just destroy their opponents. Like, come on, dude. Like, this team, I think the team that they were facing were probably doing some stupid cheating tactics again, and I was just like, even as a viewer, I'm tired of this. Grid Omega them. But Asto was not having it, because like he just didn't want to he didn't, like, I think he didn't want to like win in that type of way, and he also didn't really want to hurt them. And then he kind of found out that the way they were playing was actually going to hurt them more than actually them getting rid of Megadeth. Then it was like, okay, well, cool, but then they got rid of Megadeth. So that is like a moment where I did think like, oh, okay, well, that's actually kind of interesting though about the character. Like he kind of was like, he straight up like he kind of kept he wanted to keep his principles and was just like, I don't want to hurt them, but the stuff that they were doing was quite literally breaking their bones. So it was just like, okay, you know what, if we can just grid Omega them, then it's all over and it's fine. But then the stuff happened. But other than that, I felt like Inamori just didn't really do as much. Maybe I have like missed a few moments, but I have to be honest, like he was just kind of like a really supportive character, also a very strong character on their team, with in some cases like a pretty big role as well. So Inamori is just like a nice what's it called, like a nice main character. But I have to be honest that like his main character role is kind of like shared with some other characters, mainly being like what's it called, Haizaki and Nosaka as well. So it was like a really interesting, like I guess in my opinion, was like pretty interesting to watch what he was doing. So yeah, and also I didn't necessarily find him too annoying, because most people actually really find the main character annoying. And this was also a thing with Tenma, but okay. Let's now go to Endo, because I thought that Endo was like, he is in my opinion like the second best main protagonist, of course, because like he has had, first off, he has had 3 seasons. No, wait, basically he has had 5 seasons. And in like 1 season, like the Go season, I thought he was actually at his peak. Like in my opinion, I thought that Coach Endo was one of the best characters in Go. Like straight up, for the fact that he inspired his team in such a way, like Coach Kuro, that you could see that he straight up like he used his knowledge from back in the day, and he like gave it a bit of a Coach Kido or Kudo like vibe to it, and you could really see that Raymond was like thriving off of that. And I actually thought it was so unfortunate that he left Raymond, that he at some point had to do like other things. And like I still don't necessarily really know how to think about that, because I actually really enjoyed him as being the coach of that team. I thought he like a role as that was like perfect for him. And I'm lying, he like Endo is also in like RS and Orion, so like Endo is in like so many seasons already. But I also felt like in RS and Orion, I felt like this character was just great, especially in Orion, because in Orion like Endo is like extremely ridiculous and he's just so good. But I have to be honest, as but that's like mainly as like either like a important character for like the main character, so he's like a important support character, or it's like more of like a side character like Ars and Orion. I enjoy him way more like that than him actually having like a main character role. Even though like him being a main character was influential, of course, to the story and everything, but I felt like there's like a clear difference between how he was as a main character and then also how Tenma was. And that is at first of like, okay, like Endo was of course great for inspiring his team, coaching his team to victory, but I felt like his vibe and the way he did things was basically the same throughout the seasons. I was thinking about it, like in the first season especially, it was just kind of like the same character basically. It was just like, okay, I'm just very well, enthusiastic, and I really like to win, and I'm never giving up. That was like a big thing about the character, like the never giving up. Like he would get beaten down all the time, and he would just stand up again, and he would really be annoying to his opponent, because they would just always be like, how is this guy still standing up? And then in the second season, he kind of like had the same vibe. He was just like, I'm not giving up, everything, blah blah blah. There was like one moment where this dude got like really down, like after he noticed that, you know, like many different people were just like leaving the team, and he was just like feeling as if he was failing as a captain, which was interesting to see because it showed that he wasn't just always like this happy-go-lucky character. He could also feel sad at times, which makes it that you think to yourself like, oh, okay, well, there's something different happening with this guy. Okay, cool. He's doubting himself. He wants to get better, you know. Like he feels regret. All of this stuff. He feels like all these different type of emotions, which was cool. And then I mean, like the same episode, he did, you know, get like his act together, and then was like, okay, well, let's get back into it, you know. And then in like the third season that it was in, where it was, I would say like he was still a main character, but like there was just so much more there were so many other characters that got focus as well. Like he kind of basically was still the same type of character, like super determined, everything, this and that. But the only thing was in that season that I really liked about all of the others, but I mean, like, it's also my favorite season. So, but you saw that, and also this was like in the previous season as well. But basically, like, you saw him evolving quite literally with his moves. That was really cool. And in the third season, he actually got his own dang moves finally. Like, I think in the first season it was like maybe what, Fireball Knuckle or like Blazing Knuckle or something that he got, but like that was not like his main thing all the time. Like, you saw those moves usually when when it didn't really matter too much. But like in the third season, you actually saw him coming up with Ichigen the Hand, and well, I mean, like, God catches like a different, like somewhat different, because like he came up with, like, he got like the inspiration from his grandfather again, but like he came up with him, like, of course, by himself, so like that's a bit different. But the character was always just like the same character throughout, in my opinion. And going back to actually getting moves from his grandfather, like, this character is basically like inspired throughout the series from his grandfather. Like, most of the stuff that he has is not his. Like, even so basically, like, God Hand, Majin the Hand, the Earth even. There were other moves that his team used, like Inazuma Drop, Horo no Kazumidori is not his as well. But he doesn't use it, but I mean, like, he taught it to the team, of course. And like, I think Inazuma 1 is like an original, but yeah, like, and then even like going into the next season, like Mugen the Hand, like he wanted to first learn that, and then it was Seagino again, he got it. Like, all of these moves that he gets were not his. Like, he made them his, but there were always these moves that he just got from someone else. So basically the character just always was just like, oh, okay, well, let's look in the notebook. Oh wait, this move, okay, cool, which is all fine, but it does show that the character didn't really come up with anything by himself up until like or like anything by himself that was actually really influential, you know, because I did feel like at some point Ichigen the Hand was just kind of like his signature move at some point. So I thought that was super cool. And the same thing goes for Tetsu Makai, for example, where he kind of like felt, okay, I'm basically just copying everything that Endo does, and now I just want Mao the Hand, and then Mao the Hand became his thing, you know, like the individuality was there, and it was just fun. It was really fun to see that. And talking about like his grandfather, I felt like because Endo, because also his way of just of like how he is. Like this really determined character that just really wants to push other characters to another point, I guess, with like these speeches and everything, and he's really inspirational and all of that stuff. Like, as a I felt like as a captain he had like minor growth points. Like, as a player, of course, he did like a lot, because like at some point in like the second season he also became like a libero and stuff, so it was like you saw different sides of him, but like for the most part I felt like he was just like the same type of character. And and there wasn't like anything like really dynamic happening with him, besides like him becoming a libero, I guess. So like at some point he did become like he could like do other things than just being a goalkeeper, but he just kind of like, in my opinion, just stayed the same for the most part. And also what I'm talking about here is that like as a captain, I felt like he was like at the start he already was like screaming and shouting at everyone and just telling them what to do and just never give up, blah blah blah, and everyone would just immediately like understand and get inspired and all of that stuff. And everyone relied on him already, and people called him like Endo-san and everything. Like in my opinion, that's kind of big because, for example, the same thing goes to like Tachimukai, where Tachimukai like saw Endo like as his senpai. So Endo was this character that basically from the get-go was just kind of like just doing his stuff that he was sort of like born to do, I guess. And then just everyone just kind of like looking up to him and everything. So he kind of like just did his thing. Like of course he trained hard and everything, but it just felt like as you were watching him at times that it was just kind of like it was just being himself, just doing his thing. But he was already like in this specific position where he would be seen as the senpai. He would be seen as, oh, I look up to him or I admire him. And he just, and as like a captain, he just kind of like did the same thing all the time, and just yeah, like his team would just like thrive off of that, and he was like the pillar of support. And I felt like, of course, that's not a bad thing or anything. That's not a bad thing. That's for all the people that are just like, well, but I mean, this sounds really good. It is good, but when we're going to compare it to other character, to I guess Tenma, in my opinion, I feel like Tenma was like a lot more dynamic in that sense. That all of the things that I just named, like, oh, people look up to him, he's like the senpai, he's this and that, are basically already in like season 1. That is not the case at all with Tenma, and that is kind of what I love about the character. I'm gonna take a sip of my tea, by the way. I be talking, but yeah, I thought that Tenma was just like way different from that, and I loved watching Tenma actually, because I do have to admit, like that's also maybe a thing of mine, but I found Endo sometimes just a bit annoying at times, in my opinion. Just because like he like the Sakaya Rose and all of that stuff, it was just, I don't know. it was just kind of like getting tired. It was getting tiresome at some point, I'm not gonna lie. And and that's also like an interesting thing, like throughout the season, and throughout like the first generation of INAZUMA 11, I also found I found out that most people also thought that Endo was annoying, and then when we went to Go, where I think then we get the best character, then people are just like, no, actually Tenma is annoying and Endo's just, he's better. Where I'm just like, but okay, let's talk about the things that I actually think why Tenma is just great. Because basically it's about the first few episodes of INAZUMA 11 Go already, is where I thought Tenma is just in its entirety nearly already better than Endo is, because Tenma was terrible, absolutely terrible, useless. Like there was nothing good about this character. Absolutely nothing good about this character at like the start. This character was garbage. Like this character had no moves whatsoever. He was unreliable. He was very he was very clumsy. He was not like super confident really. So you basically just saw like a clown at the start, but Tenma had like this aura around him that just said, but I really, really, really want to try, and I'm just doing my best, and I just want to do this because I think it's important. That was the biggest thing about Tenma. So like in the first episode, you see like, and also like his demeanor and everything, that is like the biggest thing about this character as well. His demeanor, like the way he just presents himself. Like this character, in my opinion, because of his voice and everything, and because of the way he looks, very young guy, like at least younger than Endo is. So he like in most situations just really looked like a kid, just really wanting to play soccer or football, whatever. But the thing about him is just like how he how he carries that message throughout the season, and to what lengths he is going to show that. And then when you put him like next to other characters, he is so different from them all, and that is what I think is so interesting about the character. The way he looks with his actions, and then how he further carries himself is just unbelievable. You would have, because basically, in my opinion, I felt like a lot of the times where Endo was struggling against certain characters, it was also that the team was struggling against certain characters, or against those characters. But in Tenma's case, Tenma was at the start for like the majority of the episodes, at the start. So I want to say like at least like the first, definitely the first 7 episodes, and then after that it was like maybe the 13 episodes, or maybe 10 to 13. It really did feel like Tenma against the world, and that just brings such an interesting thing to the story, where you have like a main character basically just wanting to do what he thinks is right, and everyone else just says, "You're dumb, you're stupid, you have to quit, you have to stop doing this, you're putting us in jeopardy, like you're doing all of this stuff and we don't want it." But he still does it because number one, he's not hurting anyone, and number two, he is doing what he thinks is right. And in my opinion, if he really was that detrimental, they take him off of the team or put him on the bench. But that did not happen, because what he did was actually the right thing to do. But nobody wanted to do it. And that, in my opinion, is so big. A character like that is big. Like a character that is just honestly, with that determination, that is like the factor that changed the season. Like Tenma made go. Tenma absolutely made go. Like he was such a big part in creating this momentum, just creating the start. Like someone had to do it. Someone just had to just show off, I want to go against the system. But his way of I want to go against the system wasn't like F the system or anything. It was just straight up like, I just want to play real soccer. I don't know about you guys, but I want to play real soccer. I came to this school because I wanted to play real soccer, and guess what I'm gonna do? I'm going to play real soccer. I don't care about what you guys are doing, but I'm going to do it. And that in itself, where he's just like, you have to join me? No, that is not what he said. He was just like, I am gonna play like this because I feel like this is the right thing to do. Whatever we're doing right now is not right. We shouldn't even be doing this. So that's why I'm not agreeing with it, and I'm gonna do it. That is so strong. That is so unbelievably strong. Like, in my opinion, that is just such, it gives off so much character. It shows that the character is just very determined in like a different type of way of, I just want to win. This character said, I see something and I just don't agree with it, so I'm going to quote unquote like protest against it, or I'm gonna go against it, but not in like an aggressive way where I'm going to tell people you're doing everything wrong and blah blah blah. No, I'm just gonna do whatever I'm gonna do, and I'm going to take the consequences for that if something happens. And that is the vibe that he gave off throughout the entirety of the season, and he has moved people with that mentality, just by being himself and just by doing that. Like the first season or the first episode, this character was just like, I don't want the club to be disbanded. Like, I want to join this club. And okay, the only thing that I have to do is kind of like get the ball from this guy, no matter what. Okay, sure, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll get out there. Then he does so, and throughout this all, he gets disrespected by Tsurugi. Tsurugi is just toying with him, and the thing around it is that everyone around him isn't also just like, oh no, you can do it. No, you can beat everyone. Like, at the start, like the second team that got destroyed by Tsurugi is just like, what is this kid doing? This kid is a loser. This kid cannot do it. This kid is trying too hard. Just stop already. You're embarrassing yourself. But Tenma is just like, no, I'm just gonna continue. I'm in this position, and he had nothing else to lose. So he's just like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it, and I'll see where it goes. And I'm just gonna be determined. I'm gonna get out there. And people just saw what he was doing, and even I'm not too sure if it was Ichino or Oyama or anyone else, that at the start they were just looking at Tenma just failing all the time, and they were just like okay, look, he has like no technique whatsoever, and he's just like being garbage, but he's kind of impressive actually. He's really trying his best. And there was like this one shot where I guess like they showed off that he was like trying to minimize damage, because basically at the start Tenma kind of knew that he had like no chance. Like he needed to like have like a moment where he could sort of have like a quote-unquote lucky break to be able to actually do something, because he just knew that his opponent was just like on a whole another level. So he had to just do something, like minimizing damage or run away and just make sure that his teammates would not get hurt, really, which he did in like the second episode. Like you basically saw him trying to manage the entirety of the situation all the time. Like this character was struggling all the time, and from there on, like he was struggling just a bit less and less as he was trying to work really hard to get into the team, accepted into the team. Then he of course met Shinsuke, and Shinsuke was kind of moved by the way he was presenting himself. He was just like, yeah, you're doing pretty cool too, like I'm gonna join in too. And that stuff to just see, because I also feel like this is probably one of the more dramatic seasons anyways, because of like the stakes. I just thought like, wow, this character is just so much fun to see this character succeed in something, because you see him struggle just so much, and the way that he is struggling is just most of the times like this really embarrassing thing where he is just trying his best and he just gets beaten up by everyone. But like slowly but surely he's trying to get there. He's starting to get there, and like the thing is as well that nobody really believes in him besides like a few characters, and like slowly but surely it starts to be more and more and more and more characters, because they're starting to understand like, hold up, wait a minute, if this character is doing it, if this guy is doing it, like why am I not doing it? Like the character, just by being himself and just in believing what he thinks is right, which in my opinion is one of the strongest ways of presenting yourself, doing what you think is right and just doing it, no hesitation whatsoever, just go for it. Do whatever you want, and the consequences will be there anyways. There will be consequences if you don't do something, and there will be consequences if you do something. But if you do something that you think is right and you will have consequences, then it will be better. It will be fine, because you at least did something that you felt like was right. Tenma did something that he felt was right. And like as we see throughout the season, he was getting hyper rewarded for it, because he basically was moving his team from this whole like sad, depressed state of, yeah, we're never going to win a normal game anyway, we're never going to play a normal game, like hopefully maybe one day we're going to play real soccer again. Well, they could have already just picked up the slack and just done it. They could have done it, like if they just weren't scared of, no, but our soccer club is gonna get disbanded, blah blah blah. No, that's not like, if like Tenma was just not all about that. And the fun thing is that he was also the new guy. The fact that you as the new guy are actually going in against the system, because this is not just like just a way of playing the game. This is like, we have already found out that soccer has changed throughout the years. That at first Inazuma Japan has made soccer so big in Japan, but so big to the point where it was starting to be influential to a school's reputation. But and like they have built this whole system around making everything equal, which at that point makes the game not equal anymore. Like you are playing under your level, or like everything is fake. Everything is fake. Nothing is real. You have to play like the Fifth Sector ones. You are stuck in this system. You cannot get out. You cannot play actual soccer, and you get rewarded if you are a nice boy, and you get punished if you are a bad boy. And that in itself, like, it's just such a frustrating and ugly system to see, and that Tenma went against that stuff just by being himself was just delicious to watch. Absolutely delicious. Absolutely beautiful to watch. Like, it makes me so passionate, it makes me so happy that this character has just gone against whatever the system wanted, whatever his teammates wanted as well, because he did not only fight against his opponents at the start that were just like, yo, you're not listening to whatever we're doing, blah blah blah. It was also his teammates. Even his teammates were just like, Tenma, please stop, just stop doing this. You are not going to make us be better from this. We are not gonna benefit from this, so please just stop. But he did not stop. Tenma did whatever he wanted to. You could even see like his thought process, like, I'm just going to do what I think is right, and I'm going to keep on continuing doing that as long as I am allowed to, regardless of whatever people think. And that, once again, is just such a strong message, because people were moved by that. People were moved by that. It was Shinsuke at first, then after that was Shindo. After that, after he shot that ball, he just realized, like, you know what? Like, I have this feeling as well. I actually really want to play real soccer. But for that, I mean, I have to go against the system, and there are so many people against me that don't want me to succeed like that, because people are also scared of going against the system, which is understandable. But you cannot always just like, I have to just use his language, because like I'm getting real passionate. But you can't just pussy out like this. Like, you have to just do it. You have to just get out there and just show off that you are ready to fight for something, regardless of how other people perceive you. You have to be able to stand your ground, accept the criticism, accept the doubt that people will have around you, and just be the way you want to be, and like, just unapologetically just go for it and just let it be. And but without imposing your will on someone else. It was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful how slowly but surely teammates were just moved by Tenma, and throughout the season, it was also not just like his opponents were just like slowly also getting like respect for Raymond or like Tenma throughout the season. Like, everyone still disrespected Raymond. Everyone was still just like, y'all actually think that you can go against the system and all of this stuff, and like, this dude has started it all. You are like, y'all are nothing. And they still lost because they just did not have that determination as that team had. And it all started from Tenma. Tenma was the character that started this all. The same thing with Tsurigi. Tsurigi disrespected the shit out of Tenma throughout like the first part, because he was just like, you're just a kid. What do you know? How do you, like, what do you even think? How would you even think of going against this system that is being put in place? You cannot go against the system. You are nothing against the system. And Tenma showed him that he is absolutely everything against the system, because he showed off that it was just like this whole house of cards that was just on the verge of collapsing. And it was around the right time as well that Endo was stepping in, the emperor I guess election, whatever, was going to happen, and they want to start the revolution. And I tell you, the fact that Tenma has started with, like, you know, this whole breeze, like what's it again, like a breeze of like refreshment, like a new breeze has gone through Raymond. I think that's even the name of the first episode. That is literally Tenma, and that is literally how this entire season is just getting carried by his actions at first, but not necessarily like, not that, like, how do I say this? The start of Go is so important, and Tenma plays like a huge role in that, because he carried the start, and then slowly but surely like gave other characters the space to also just develop themselves, and to also build the story up to something else. And because of that, Tenma doesn't carry like the entirety of Go, but enables other characters, and like makes a transition for the story to go into something even bigger than him. And that is so freaking cool. It is so cool as a character like Tenma to just be like, whoa, I have actually set up for something incredible without him being like this ridiculous, I carry the entirety of the season by myself type of character. He is just like just carrying the start for the most part real hard, and then after that, like, this whole momentum just starts to happen, and it is just amazing to watch, because the matches after that become so great as well, and Raymond starts to come together as a team, and it's just so cool to experience everything. And it all happened because of Tenma, and because of his determination, and because of his hard work, just in like a portion of the season. And it's amazing to watch, and especially with just his demeanor, just like a young kid, just wanting to play for Raymond, just wanting to do what he thinks is right, and then it just packs out the way it did. It was absolutely beautiful to watch, and that is just only even Go. That is only Go. Like I honestly, like, if I would probably talk even more about what I think is amazing about Go and what Tenma has done, then I will probably be here for an hour. But in my opinion, like, this is like such a big part of what Tenma has done, and that Endo just does not get to that point. He just doesn't get to the point. Like, Endo has not gone against the system the way that Tenma did, and because this is also like the best story, in my opinion, that INAZUMA 11 also has had in the Go anime, the Go season 1 anime, because it's like it's basically like a storyline that is not too ridiculous, like in season 2 of the of like basically every single season, of every single generation, basically, where they first have to like play against random alien character, blah blah blah, which is like super ridiculous. You're already thinking to yourself, like, what the heck is going on? Like, season 1 was so different from this. And then the same thing goes for like Rolling Stones, where it's basically just like, we're gonna time travel, we're gonna play against terracotta, blah blah blah, we're gonna play against dinosaurs, this and that, people from the future. Like, that's just like the storylines just become way too ridiculous. But like, the storyline that was happening in Go 1 was just like a coherent story that just for the most part was just you could follow it. It wasn't super random, where out of nowhere a random character from the future is just like coming in, that is like the mother of a character, blah blah blah, but like the younger version, you know, like Kinoko, like stuff like that, you know. The story just made sense. You could follow it, and there was a good build up to it, even though the build up, like, for some people is kind of slow, like, but like for me, I've like seen the first part of Go like 4 times already. So honestly, the more I saw, the more I watched it, the more I felt like, whoa, this is actually really well done. This is like brilliant, honestly. At least like the most brilliant from like what we've ever seen in INAZUMA 11. So yeah, that's just like what I think of the first season. But like in the second season, I felt like, okay, well, Tenma is just doing fine, you know. And like in the third season, I feel so Galaxy, I felt like Tenma was like a really cool character, and also he as a captain just also grew a lot more, because he was basically kind of becoming like Endo, because like he was kind of at some point he was carrying the team like a bit more at the start, and then later on, like, there was more room for other characters to do their thing. But he supported a lot of the newer characters coming in, which I really like, because he was becoming like the senpai type of character, I guess, but still being Tenma, you know, still being Tenma. So he like still gave those really good speeches. He still talked to people, still supported characters, and especially with characters like Matataki that really needed it. I actually rewatched the part where where Matataki becomes like his quote unquote true self. Like that is such like a beautiful scene. Like it nearly brings like a tear to my eye when I think when I even rewatched that scene, because it was straight up just like Tenma being Tenma. It was Tenma being like basically the pure character basically that he is. Just kind of like this really childish, I guess, like this really childish or very young aura around him, but with like a good amount of determination that in some moments was kind of ridiculous, but also just like, but I like what I'm seeing. Like I want him to succeed. Like that is always the feeling that I had whenever I looked at whatever what Tenma was doing. I was just like, like regardless of some things around him, I want this kid to succeed so hard, man. Like he deserves it. He deserved it real hard. And not that Endo or Inamori didn't, but for Tenma, I felt it the most. Like for Tenma, I felt it the most, because there was just so much against him. There was so much against him, and you just wanted him to succeed. So yeah, that is and basically oh yeah, and I basically also forgot to say that this character basically just also becomes like way better and way better throughout the season. He first starts off with just a dribble, he can do something with his dribble, then he starts to become like, he becomes a avatar user as well, he gets like a shot as well later on, he gets like a block move. Like this character is super versatile as well. Like, I feel like just being like a main protagonist, like you don't need to have like every single move under the sun, but goodness gracious, this character gets it all. Like he got like a Kashin, like his Kashin evolved, Kashin armed and everything, a Mixie Max, all that stuff. Like he be putting in the work throughout the season. So basically that's also something that I just really wanted to mention, as I yeah, forgot about this part, so yeah, I'm just throwing this one in. But basically this character just getting so many different moves, so much creativity. This character, like his brain at times, brain blast, like he just be putting in so much work, and yeah, I don't know, like there's just so many things about him, because I am so passionate about a character like this. You guys can already just see that I just have more passion for this character. I was just way more moved by the actions of this character, which is just the reason as to why I think once again that this is the best protagonist by far. So yeah, if you are already up to this point, you know, you have listened to what I've said. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable that you're already here at this point. Comment something that has to do with keys, okay? Comment something with keys, all right? If you're already up to this point, I want to see the people in the comment section say something with keys, like comment something with keys, and then I know that you're already up to this point and that you are a real trooper, because you actually really wanted to know the truth about about Tenma. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you so much for I guess watching the gameplay as well. Go follow me on all of my things, I guess. I'm starting to use Twitter again, but honestly I'm just only like kind of posting whenever they have a new video or whenever I'm streaming again and whatever. So maybe you want to follow it for that. It's at DragonBlazeV2 on Twitter. Also my Twitch is twitch.tv/DragonBlazeV2. I stream every single Saturday at least, and I want to try and see if I maybe will also stream on Fridays. And I stream every single and I upload every single Monday and Thursday. So yeah, I hope that you guys also you know, would like to subscribe, because I would really appreciate that. And of course my Discord is also in the description down below. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I will see you guys in the next episode, and also let me know what you guys think of me calling you guys Team Dragonblaze. I don't know. I think it's like a good name, but also if you guys have other suggestions, be my guest. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.